Happy Friday, church. Welcome to today's special digital devotion. We are with Dr. Craig Hadley, pastor at Paradox Church in Redlands, who's going to be preaching this Sunday at Claremont UCC while Jen and I are out of town. And we are so excited for you to hear a message from Dr. Hadley. Jen, you've had the pleasure of preaching at Paradox Church twice now.
Yes, it's been an honor.
And it is an incredible congregation.
Great church.
And we love Dr. Hadley, and so we're excited for him to be with Claremont UCC. So we thought for today, you all could get to know Dr. Hadley a little bit and hear about his church and to hear about his experience in ministry so that you can know who's coming to be with you this Sunday. So, Dr. Hadley, would you mind sharing with us how you got into ministry? What brought you to ministry? How did you become a pastor? Just share with us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I did tell you before we met that you could call me Dr. Craig Hadley. I thought that would just be once, so you can call me Craig from now on. That's
okay, deal. All
right. Anyways, I got into ministry. Basically, I grew up in a Christian denomination, and then for the first time in college, stepped outside of that bubble essentially and made friends with people that weren't in the same tradition that I was in. And that made me want to be a pastor because I heard about their experiences in church, and it was a bit different than the experience that I had. I felt like I had a pretty good experience growing up, and I heard a lot of negative experiences that, broke my heart back then. And I felt like I wanted to get into ministry. Being able to play music was a big part of that. And eventually then enrolled in seminary at La Sierra University in Riverside. And then worked for a Christian denomination for 7 or 8 years. And then we felt like God was calling us to start our own church. So we started it in 2016. And we're not affiliated with a denomination, but we are in the heart of downtown Redlands. And we've had a really good time for the last nearly 8 years now.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. What's something that your church is up to right now? Something cool that you guys are doing or something interesting that's on the horizon?
So we just finished an 8-year sermon series through the entire Bible, which was it was a long time. It actually started before we were a church. So if you do the math, that's how it all works out. But last year, with a couple of mentors suggesting we do this, we are doing the liturgical calendar. And so we've recently discovered the Christian seasons. And discovered, like lots of other Christians celebrate them, obviously. We've discovered them for us personally, is what I mean by that. And we've really enjoyed it. We've found a lot of creative energy behind those Christian seasons. So right now we're in the season of Epiphany, and we've really enjoyed celebrating the presence of God among us. And we're only 2 years in, but we have really enjoyed the creativity that comes with that. So that's the first thing that comes to mind.
That's so great.
Yeah. Well, tell us about Paradox Church. So where did the name come from? What's kind of the vibe or flavor of the church?
Yeah, so Paradox Church, the name, it's really hard to name a church. I don't know if people know this. There's no class in seminary about how to name a church. So I've had to learn how to name it. We tried a bunch of different names and none of them came close. Paradox was the one that stuck, primarily because I've heard Richard Rohr talk about how spiritual maturity requires us to become more and more comfortable with paradox. And I think that's very much at the heart of the Christian message when you consider, God dies in the Christian story. And yes, God is resurrected, but equally important to that story is God dying, which is, just a very, very puzzling and mysterious paradox that I've enjoyed spending a lifetime getting to know. As far as what it is that we do, we are one of 3 affirming churches in downtown Redlands. We became affirming in 2018. While some people have called us progressive, we are way behind Redlands UCC. They were openly affirming in 1998. So we were 20 years behind them, and we were number 2. And then the Episcopalians were 3rd in 2019. And there's a couple other churches here in Redlands that are getting close to that, but that's something that's really been important to us. As far as the vibe of the church, we do a contemporary worship service, and there's some excitement with that and some heartbreak as far as it can be week to week at times. But ultimately, we try to have a lot of fun. We try to bring in creative elements as much as possible. and try to illustrate what it is that the gospel is in 2024 now. That's the first time I've said it, so it felt weird coming out of my mouth right then.
2024. Gosh, it's hard to believe.
I know.
So we lost Jen. Jen had to go. Clementine just woke up from a nap again. So we were hoping she
We'll do
was
that.
down. She didn't. So just be the two of us. But um, that's awesome that you all were the second church in Redlands to be open and affirming. And you all, that's of such an essential value to who we are at Claremont UCC. So we are so excited to just be able to know Paradox Church and connect with you and to partner with you in this way, to be able to do this pulpit swap. You mentioned music being important to your ministry. So I went to when Jen preached those two times. And doesn't your daughter play the drums? It's kind of a
She
family
does.
affair.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
The story goes is that when she was 5, my wife and I went to her and said, it's time to start piano lessons. And she just said no, like flat out. And we asked her why not. And she said, I want to play the drums, Dad. And I couldn't believe my ears. Like, this is evidence for me that there is a good God in charge of the universe. I could not believe that she said it. And so she stuck with it now. She's at 4.5 years. And it's just been a real privilege and honor to be able to watch her grow as a musician. And then just 2 or 3 weeks ago, in December, my son Bodie, who is 7 years old, he played in the praise band for the first time as a 7-year-old on bass. So I was very proud of him. We actually all 3 got to play in the band together that day. So it may be a little bit cheesy, but it was like the perfect kind of experience as a parent for me.
That's amazing. Now you are known to hop on guitar too during some of the music sets, right?
Yeah, I'm not a musician. I'm more of a technician when it comes to the music, as in if somebody say, can you improvise on this? The answer is no, absolutely not. I have to practice my parts very diligently to try to keep up with real musicians. But I do enjoy playing when I'm well prepared.
That's awesome. What a special experience to be able to be in a band with your kids. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Anything you can share with us about who you are, who Craig is, what you enjoy, a fun fact as we prepare for your arrival on Sunday?
Well, outside of ministry, I enjoy snow skiing with my family. That's the activity that the 4 of us enjoy the most together. We go up to Mammoth on a semi-frequent basis. And then during the summer, my wife is just she runs half Ironmans, so I'm really proud of her. I tried to keep up with her the last time. She beat me, but I did do one with her in July in Oregon last summer, so that was a lot of fun. And we just try our best to enjoy life and stay on top of everything. My kids are very social, which helps a lot being pastors' kids. So I feel very lucky that they're part of that. And that's just been something that's really, really good for our family. As far as church stuff, we really enjoy the church and serving the community of Redlands as much as possible. We have been so grateful to be welcomed by so many different churches in the area, as well as just to be able to share this community as we grow together. And after at nearly 8 years now, I just feel very lucky because the church seems to be about as healthy and happy as it's ever been. And a lot of that has just been the community really committing to each other and really wanting to live in a way that we all challenge each other to become more loving people. So it's just been a really great ride. And that's a lot of what my family of 4 does.
Incredible. Thanks, Craig. So, church, we're really excited for you to hear from Craig this Sunday. You are in for a treat. Thank you for spending time with us. We really appreciate you.